Thank you for joining us here on the Neutral Zone. I am Phil Milani, joined as always by my partner in crime, my esteemed colleague. Really, the best way to describe this person is my everything, and it's his favorite day of the entire year, at Aric DiLalla.
It's schedule release day.
Ah!
Wow, I'm excited.
How are you feeling?
I'm pumped up.
Yeah.
This is some people like Christmas, some people like Thanksgiving. Swanson, Arbor Day is a fan favorite, but for me, schedule release day, it beats it all.
Yeah. What is it about today that you love so much?
Limitless possibility.
Got it.
Yeah. Anything is possible when you unwrap the schedule.
That's true.
A lot of people in our organization, they just get a piece of paper. I ask them to wrap it up in a little box for me.
Yeah.
And I
put it under your pillow?
I unwrap it, and then I just am so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should come up with like sort of a backstory on how it gets delivered to your house. Maybe for next year.
Maybe next year.
Someone comes down the chimney, that's already taken.
Right.
So we got to come up with something else.
Yeah.
You know,
They break in
a
through
little
your
fairy
window.
flies around and delivers. No, that's taken.
It's a tooth fairy, yeah.
The bunny, there's a bunny
out.
around. No, we can't do that one either. So we're going to have to come up with something.
We'll figure it out.
How it's delivered to the DiLalla estate. Yeah.
Bright and early.
Well, we got the schedule here.
We got
it's
it.
hot off the presses. It's really actually hot.
How did you get it? They told
it's
you?
really hot. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They just I downloaded it this morning into my brain. And then that was it. And then
You're gonna think I'm joking because I've only had this for a few minutes now. I've already memorized.
wow.
I'm
You have
not-
photographic memory?
No, but
when
the
it comes to
schedule when it
this?
comes to the schedule,
Yeah,
I can just get rolling.
Really?
Yeah.
Just get a little pumped up.
Yeah. But we've got to print it out just in case.
Well, we'll do our best to keep this thing under 3 hours.
Yeah, I'll try.
So,
You can just cut out
we
the
don't know
parts
what's
where I
gonna
just,
happen. Just
ramble about the merits of
hotels.
10-day rest for 7 days.
Yeah. The travel schedule.
Right.
You know. We'll get into all of it here.
I'm excited.
We'll offer some general thoughts, like what pops off the page.
General thoughts?
General thoughts. And then we'll also go, as most people like to do, week by week, win and loss. And by the end of this thing, I think we'll have a final record.
Okay.
How does that sound?
That sounds really nice.
Before we get into that, though, we should mention that Ben Swanson is here in studio as well.
And Swanson.
What am I here for?
I don't know if you're going to be able to talk today, but we'll see.
That's okay. I'm just here for to listen in.
Encouragement.
Yeah, support.
Fact check it, too, because, I mean, maybe Aric gets crazy. And
The piece of paper is my only source. So.
yeah, that's true. The paper. That's what does it. Aric, we should mention that this is an interactive show. We want to hear what NZ Nation has to say about the schedule.
Of course.
Are you as fired up as DiLalla is? How do people weigh in?
Phil, you could send us an email, neutralzoneshow@gmail.com. You leave a voicemail at 707-NEUTRAL. You could tweet at us directly on Twitter at Aric DiLalla with an A, at Phil Milani with a PH. Both are non-traditional, non-verified.
Yeah, we don't have those checks
We don't
anymore.
have them
They're
anymore.
gone.
It's still us, I promise.
You still get a check in the mail, but it's not on your Twitter.
I only have one check now.
Yeah, only just
Kind of
one
a
check.
bummer.
Yeah.
Or Phil, you could go to the Broncos official YouTube page. Maybe
That's my
where
favorite way.
Maybe that's where you're watching this podcast right now.
That's my favorite way to do that.
And you could leave a comment in the comment section.
Yes.
Please hit the thumbs up arrow as well.
Now, this is a serious episode.
Yes.
But there's some time for some silliness,
We hope so.
which is right now.
Perfect.
Cindy H., one of our favorite fans of the show.
Of course, yep.
A 3-hour neutral zone, ? Yes, please. Party emoji. Party emoji. And then she had another comment, said, if you don't like the intro, just use the timestamps. As someone who lives in Broncos country in their heart, not geographically, I personally love the interaction with the fans. It's nice.
Well,
it feels like a connection with my team I can't get anywhere else. My favorite podcast by a mile. Keep up the good work, guys. I really appreciate you.
Ooh, favorite podcast by a mile.
By a mile. Yeah.
Oh.
Mile. It's nice.
Miles a mascot?
We are not associated with a bar, which is confusing.
We're not.
But, well, except on Mondays during the season when we're at Breckenridge Brewery's
That's true.
farm home.
Oh, very specific
One
connection.
Yeah. That bar has a lot of vowels.
Yeah. Yeah, the other one does.
It's kind of confusing. But
Yeah.
We're still
Thank
here,
you,
though.
Cindy.
We're
Appreciate
nice.
it. Yeah. J. Prez Bronk, another regular.
Yep.
Thanks for always answering my questions, guys. Got to roll with caramelized onions and mushrooms myself.
A
Same
classic.
as me. Same as me. That's for the burger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for the burger. Now, J. Prez Bronk wants to know, what about steaks? What's your favorite cut? J. Prez Bronk likes New York strip, medium rare. Yeah. I like a New York strip, but I think recently I've been really into ribeye.
Oh, ribeye good.
No bone for me. I know some people like the bone. It's nice. And medium rare. So I'm going to do medium rare ribeye.
I of course like medium rare, but
Of course.
and I won't do the same thing as you, but because
You do like a ribeye?
I do, but I'll go with a fillet. You have to have like a
healthier option for the fillet.
It has to be like a certain circumstance because it's just a little. It's rich, of course.
The fillet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't. It's not like always
Special.
what I want.
It's expensive,
Yeah.
but
It's
it doesn't have as much
Sometimes
fat
it's nice to
in
have
it.
like a porterhouse where you get a little bit of both.
Yeah. Or like a tenderloin situation, maybe for a holiday like today.
Yeah.
You're
Right,
making
you break it out.
You're making a nice tenderloin or something. Yeah.
Swanson?
I'm going to copy you. I like the ribeye.
It's nice. There's a high fat content.
The
in
marbling.
ribeye. I like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do medium rare.
Medium rare. Yeah. This
Our friend,
makes sense.
our old friend Matt Boyer. I don't know if people know who
Well
that is.
done.
He likes it put into an oven and just charred for 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. When he orders, when we go out, we're like, what?
And then he wants us to cut it up for him and a little cup full of ketchup.
Our friend Tom Agnetti, gentlemen. Another excellent episode. The bar is so high right now. I wonder what goals do you consider for your season a success? How do you define and measure success in your industry, like the podcast?
Oh.
Not the football
Not the
team.
season.
Yeah. Is it comments, likes, views, team wins, QZs, and flannels? NZ Nation wants to know.
QZs are important.
QZs is
Comments,
important.
engagement is good.
Recently, you did really well. You came with some new QZs,
That's right.
and I noticed. Everybody noticed. We're
everybody-
like, whoa!
Everybody noticed. Downloads, of course. That's a
yeah.
number of people listening. That's important.
Yeah.
Those are all things.
Andrew Morrow says, "Loved the aggressive trading." That was for the draft, I think. Brandon Walker says, "Haven't commented in a while. Eric is my favorite media guy, but Phil did pick Riley Moss." I don't know what that means. That's
as
my
your favorite draft
guy.
pick.
This is Brandon Walker from Iowa.
Of course.
Yeah, so
Iowa.
I don't. Iowa. That's what I said. I said Iowa.
Yeah, that's not. Never mind.
What?
Moving on.
He says Eric is my favorite media guy.
Thanks.
He must really
Are
like
you
obituaries or
What?
questions about the fans.
Are you a media guy? Is Phil,
I think I'm a media guy.
or are you just
I try not to do too much, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We
Clearly.
know. We know. You're doing a good job.
Someone is asking for our dating advice, Eric.
Oh.
Let's get into this, okay?
Wow. Okay, we might have to postpone the schedule to next week.
This is from Beach Bums 63. Love y'all's pod. Quick question for you. I got a dinner date coming up, and the girl is a Chiefs fan. Should I break it off before things go too far? Also, I'm hearing. Let's just keep it to the. Chiefs. This is my first time reading these.
Perfect.
And that's
Let's
how
just
this
keep it down.
podcast
Let's
should
just
be.
cut it off
Very
or
little
no?
forethought.
That's a good question, Phil. I think there's two approaches here. One, you could say that you don't want to go on a date with someone that you have conflicting beliefs with. So you could just cut it off now and say, hey, I don't want to waste your time. Or you could say, hey, maybe even though we have differences, we have similarities as well. Or Phil, my choice would be I would go enjoy the date, a nice meal, and then right before the check comes, I would get out of there.
Oh, really?
Leave it with the Chiefs fan.
You would do that?
Yeah, if I were this
Wow,
guy.
that's kind of messed up.
It's a Chiefs fan.
I like to be upfront. Just say, hey, I don't think this is going to work out.
What's your problem?
Yeah, I just
How dare you?
some people, like when they first start dating somebody, they start looking for like warning signs. Like, oh, that's like this
Red
this
flags.
is- red flags. Yeah, like this is a small thing, but it could like reveal like character flaws.
This is a
you know?
literal red flag.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think that being a Chiefs fan is a character flaw?
Yes.
I guess that's what it sort of
I think
comes down
so.
to. And I would say yes.
Right.
Yeah. You know, like
What other teams, like a Raiders fan, probably the same?
I think the Raiders, yeah, you would. They could be a Chargers fan. That's fine.
Yeah, it's just
That's
you
not-
kind of feel sad for them, right?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but I would just say like, oh, that's fine. Like, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
There's not like
What about Seahawks?
No. Yeah, that's like the
Yeah,
biggest.
right now,
red flag,
no.
I think. Yeah. So I would say before it goes too far, maybe this is just not. It's not going to work.
Oh, but people are like, you see people who, someone goes to UNC, someone goes to Duke, they end up happily married.
They say opposites attract.
House divided.
Say opposites.
I say
attract.
go on the date, see what happens. Maybe this is like the one Chiefs fan who isn't just terrible.
Or
What are they, robbing banks?
maybe like when they play each other, it'll be like a healthy rivalry. You can have some fun with it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, deep down inside, I think that's going to like just sort of be.
Fester.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is that this person, what's his name?
Hold on.
Beach Bums.
Yeah, Beach Bum 63.
Beach Bum 63 hasn't had to deal with the last 6.5 years with this person. Because imagine how terrible it would be if you were married to a
True.
Chiefs fan and you lost 15 consecutive times.
But how much longer is Mahomes going to play? It's going to be a problem
No,
for
come
as long
on,
as-
Phil. Come on, it won't.
I'm not saying losses. I'm just saying they're going to be a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it would be worse. Imagine if you had to deal with your spouse just lording that over you for 6.5 years. That'd be tough.
That would be.
I
just
think you
having
go on the
that
date.
thing.
I think you see what happens. Maybe do a TikTok.
You could do a TikTok on like
Ooh, you know
watching
what?
a game together.
Have her listen on the neutral zone. Bump the numbers up a little bit.
Oh yeah, that would be painful for her. I think.
Well, make sure that
As a
she
Chiefs
listens
fan.
separately so we get double.
Double numbers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Don't
All
not
of you,
together.
all of you listeners, you should be doing that. You need to be watch on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts, and have your friends.
Zenobia K. Dithers. Bacon, cheese, onion rings, shrooms, barbecue sauce. That's a lot.
That's all it says.
I do like onion rings
that
on
all
it.
it
That's
says?
all it says. Dominic Cavazos.
Imagine if you hadn't listened to this podcast and you
Yeah,
just
it
saw
just
that.
says
You'd,
that.
you'd be
You're
like,
like,
what is happening?
Those are good. That's a nice combination there, though. I love an onion ring on. I should have said onion ring.
Yeah, it's a little much for me.
Dominic Cavazos says, big Ben Swanson fan here. He's not
Let's
worth
go.
a seventh. Maybe he
Like,
means
he
that like
means
you're
I'm
worth
worth
more.
more?
Yeah, I think he means you're worth more.
But it's funny to read it the other way.
Yeah. I'm worth 1.5 CFAs.
And I think that that's it. Oh, Jay Prez Bronk also mentioned who can name the most NFL mascots. We did that in the office.
We did this in the office. It was harder than I
Much harder.
thought it would
much
be.
harder.
I think we maybe got like 5, 6. I mean, not many more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
It was difficult.
And then the last one here is from Rocky Marquise. Did I say last one last time?
You did, but that's kind of a typical.
common thing here. We always state that Eric and Phil have non-traditional spellings.
Yep.
Okay. Curious about the Phil part of it, the PHIL. That's short for Philip
Right.
for me as well.
Yeah.
And mine's PH, but that's a non-traditional. Can you explain that?
Well, traditional is FIL,
Correct.
so that's why PHIL is non-traditional.
Like, for example,
And also, Phil only has one L. It's not PHILL,
exactly.
which is different.
I'll say it this way. My friend's kid came over to my house this last weekend, and he was like, "Hey, did you know I could spell my dad's name?" And I was like, "Oh, that's good. How do you do that?" And he's like, M-I-K-E, Mike.
Oh,
And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Do you know how to spell Phil?" And he goes, F.
you're like,
And then he
"You're
goes,
wrong."
I-L. And I was like, "You would think that's how you would spell it." He was trying to sound it out, and he was like, "Yeah, F-I-L."
How old is this kid?
I think he's 4, 5.
Why
He's
is your
about to
son
be
hanging out with people 5 years older
He's
than
not.
him?
No, my friend's son came
Oh,
over.
I thought you said your
not my
son's
son.
friend.
Not my son's friend.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's not like my
He's a
son's
bad
friends just come
influence.
over and hang out. That doesn't. Yeah, not usually. Yeah, 5-year-old. Yeah,
Oh, so
got
they're
it.
not friends.
He buys them lollipops.
So your son is not friends with your friend's son.
I think they could be friends, but that's
not
not
now.
how. That's not the origin story.
Oh,
The
got
origin
it.
story is it was my friend's son
Got it.
came over. They all came over. The whole family came over, not just the kid.
Got that part of it.
Yeah.
He just drove himself over in his little like Hot Wheels.
The red,
Yeah, what are those
the,
plastic
with the
things?
yellow
Yeah.
roof. Yeah.
Fisher Price, maybe.
Maybe not a sponsor.
Could be.
Could be if they wanted to be. So anyway, those are all of our comments. Some good ones this week.
It was great.
Except I had to edit out one.
Yeah, we wish people
We
could have
can't really
heard.
talk about
We wish
that.
people could have heard the one that we didn't read, but
Yeah.
or that we did read, but now it's gone. Use your
Read?
imagination.
Read?
All right,
Okay.
Phil, I'm ready.
Let's get into the schedule, Eric. People listening to this have probably glanced over it. What was your initial takeaway? What popped off the page?
More primetime games
Than you thought?
than I maybe expected.
Four?
4 primetime games. Those quickly are at Kansas City on Thursday Night Football, at Buffalo Monday Night Football, home on Sunday Night Football against the Vikings, and then Christmas Eve at home against the Patriots. I thought there was a chance that I think nationally there was like a little bit of fatigue with the Broncos on primetime last year, and maybe a little bit is doing a lot there. And so I just wondered how much the NFL would put the Broncos in primetime. But 4 is a good number, and I think it shows the league is interested in what Sean Payton can do for this team, how Russell Wilson bounces back. And listen, even if the Broncos are not playing, even if they're not a Super Bowl contender, still have a great fan base, and obviously they draw well and give good ratings. So maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but nice to see them get some primetime opportunities that are really spread out throughout the season.
Yeah, I think that there's still enough interest in hey, Sean Payton's a head coach now. He's a big name. Russell Wilson, can he come back from his first year here in Denver, rebound a little bit? I think there's still enough just sort of interest in what the Broncos are going to do. I will say playing on Christmas Eve in a primetime slot, that's sort of a big game, I would think. So the Patriots coming in here, it's late in the season. That's sort of there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on that game, I would imagine. So it wasn't like they just got a bunch of early season primetime games. So
Right, and back-to-back weeks there in 10 and 11.
yeah, at Buffalo, that's going to be an interesting game there
That'll be
right
a,
after the bye week.
Be a tricky one. Phil, the other thing that stands out to me are a couple of things. One, the way the division matchups are spread out here is really kind of interesting. You play the Chiefs twice in 3 weeks, both of them by week 8, so you're done really quickly with the Chiefs.
Uncommon for the Broncos the last few
Uncommon.
years.
Phil, do you know the last time the Broncos played the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football in Arrowhead?
I do. That was the Bradley Roby scoop and score, right?
Just kind of, what do you think could happen now that the
Wow, you
Broncos are
think-
back on Thursday Night Football in Arrowhead? Maybe that's just poetic. The streak could end. Who knows? Kind of interesting.
It could end.
It's possible.
It could end. That was the last Broncos.
It's
win.
allowed to end.
Yeah, it is allowed.
So you've got that. You've got the Chargers. You play them twice within 4 weeks. And so that's another kind of, you'll play them in quick succession. But then the Raiders, you play them week 1 at home.
Bookends.
Season opener. You don't play them again for 17 weeks.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like that element of it. You go a really long time between playing these teams.
You get a taste early, and then you see then you go to battle, and then you come back and
They'll be completely different teams by the
Yeah.
end of the year.
yeah.
But so that was interesting from a division slate. And then I think people will probably focus on that 3-game road trip.
That is not very friendly.
Interesting. I actually think in terms of teams, it could be at Kansas City, at Buffalo.
The team isn't, but having lived 3 consecutive games on the road in 2014, I believe it was.
17 is the last time that this happened.
2000, like I said, 2017.
Yep.
Was it 17 that they did that?
Yep.
I remember the one
Correct.
in 14 because it was brutal. Because just 3 weeks in a row, it takes a toll.
Of course.
What was the one in 17? Swanson, you got it?
They played the Chargers, and then they played the Eagles.
Well, they did play them in that span. But it
That
was
was-
Chargers, Chiefs, Eagles.
Chargers, Chiefs, Eagles. They went 0-3.
Yeah. It is. I mean, I don't think the teams really matter. Just having 3 in a row, it takes a toll a little bit. You wouldn't think because it's you only play once a week. It's whatever. But it does take a toll. Like that Saturday beforehand, 3 in a row, it's really difficult.
Well, and if you look at the schedule right now, that Detroit game could be played on Saturday. So you could be going a short week
Yeah.
on your 3rd consecutive road game. Obviously, we don't know what Houston is going to be. We'll get to these one-on-one, but
Yeah.
the Chargers and the Lions are both going to be difficult opponents, and you just got to maybe if you get 1 during that stretch or 2 would be great, but that's hard on your body to come home, have to recover all week, and you're right, get back on a plane at the end of the weekend and go do it again.
Yeah. And just like for like staff and like people working for the organization, I would just say
That's
like
what people care about.
well,
It's
and I
hard on
imagine the
Phil.
players are like this too, where that like Friday, Saturday before the game, like it's your chance to kind of do whatever life things you have to do. And when you're going on the road, it's just a long time without
That lawn's
any,
not going to get mowed.
I don't think I'll be mowing. Nobody's going to be mowing in December, I don't think.
If only we did a video
Nobody. About mowing in December?
about
We
what,
couldn't
like,
do
what,
that. I don't
what,
think.
should, what should you even be doing?
I don't think so. Your line should be dormant by then, I would imagine. So, but other things, maybe you're trying to do a little holiday shopping. Of course, not a thing in your household because today's the holiday.
Yeah, I already did it.
Yeah.
The other thing is that some teams, if you're going to play like back-to-back East Coast trips during that stretch, you could stay out
Ooh,
there.
you see any of those on there?
Maybe that makes it a little bit easier, but at Houston, you're not going to stay somewhere.
You're going to spend a week in Detroit, I think. There might do that.
They're going to fly from L.A. past
right over Denver
and go to Detroit.
Straight into Detroit.
Who doesn't want to spend a week in Detroit in
No
December?
offense to Detroit, but in December it might be a little chilly.
Might be a little chilly.
Detroit's up and coming city, I'll tell you.
I've heard that.
A lot of artists. Well, I'm being serious.
I believe you. Don't know. Yeah, perfect. Anything else stand out, Phil? Obviously, a couple revenge games,
Sure.
if you will.
I always like to see where the bye is. It's right
yeah.
smack in the middle there.
Phil likes the
nice.
schedule comes out and Phil's like, when can I not work?
Well, no, again, thinking just about this from the football team, it's nice to have a bye in the middle there.
Of course, yeah. Back-to-back years with a week 9 bye for the
That's
Broncos.
nice. Yeah,
Very nice.
You want to have a middle to late bye, I would think. And that Thursday is sort of like a mini bye, but the actual bye week, that's a nice slot for that.
Yeah, I agree. And then the revenge games we mentioned, week 3 at Miami, going to be hot. You face Vic Fangio, Bradley Chubb,
Oh yeah,
and then
this is what people get fired up about. Keep
the,
going.
the Jets week 5, Nathaniel Hackett, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
That'll be spicy too. A little interesting to see that one not in primetime, but I guess the Jets must just be playing so many other primetime games.
Yeah.
They open the season, I believe, on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, we thought maybe that would be a potential for the Broncos opener. How do you feel about the Broncos opening back-to-back weeks at home?
I like it.
Kind of nice.
Good chance to get off on the right foot.
Yeah.
I believe the Broncos have played 4 of their last 5 openers on the road. 3 of their last 5. I mean, 3 of their last 4. They've been on the road a little
Seattle
bit. So
last
nice
year
to
was an opener.
Yeah, Seattle on the road. They played, of course, Oakland on the road to open a season. I think in 2019.
Oh, yeah.
2021, I believe, at New York.
2020 was at home against the Titans, right?
So what is that? That'll be 3 of the last 4 had been
Yeah.
on the road. So this is nice to be back at home.
to back.
And the Broncos, until, you think about these years that the Broncos have struggled, even up to probably 2020, 2021, their September home record was still really, really good.
Yeah,
And
they
so-
start off the season traditionally.
Starting off at home, I don't know if, other teams are still getting in shape or what, but the altitude, I think, probably helps.
Yeah. And I think
point.
that for this team, getting off to a good start is going to be important.
Right.
I think just building some confidence and being like, yeah, we're going to be all right here. I think that's important. So
The Broncos play just one playoff team from last year in the first 5 weeks. Obviously, we believe the Jets will be a lot better now with Aaron Rodgers, but that's just kind of a fact. No playoff teams from last year. And then that stretch of week 8 through week 11 is the only stretch where you play last year playoff teams back-to-back.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice little
So-
that's a good little thing. But this schedule is harder than last year's schedule. Like, I mean, in terms of opponents. Like, there's the strength of
Yeah,
it is. But
I believe you.
I think that it's pretty good. Other than the three consecutive road games, I look at this and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty.
Right.
It's pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty good. I think you want a few primetime games. You like a middle bye, and I don't think there's like just in terms of like the opponents. There's not like a stretch that just jumps off the page that's like,
Oh, no.
this is brutal,
Right.
or like this stretch is going to determine the outcome of the year.
Right.
I don't really see that on here.
We talked last year, the Broncos are going to have to really play well at the beginning of the year, load up on some wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Before a really difficult back end of their
Murder's row.
schedule. This doesn't have that, in my eyes. And at least right now, it could shape up that way that by the end of the year, the Chargers, Lions, and Patriots are playing out of their mind, and you've got to play 4 games in a row against those guys. But the way it stands right now, what we think about these teams, it doesn't look, like you said, like there's any stretch that's just impossible.
Yeah. And it's good that they got a Sunday night football game and ESPN, a Monday night, they're
Right.
a good mix.
They're making the rounds a little bit.
Yeah, they're making some rounds. They got the Amazon. It's possible that not every team is going to get a Thursday night game
That's correct.
this
Yep.
year. So, and then the NFL.
And the possibility week 15 against Detroit, week 18, you could still have, I don't know if you consider a Saturday game a primetime game per se, but a standalone game. You can have more.
Yeah.
So and that's something, if the Broncos play well, it's a big market. They've got good storylines. They'll probably get it. If they don't play well, they won't.
Or maybe like some flex options there later in the year too. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll have to see. So, Swanson, you got any thoughts or you like anything here? Let's just check in. Wake up.
What was the question?
No, I kind of
like it.
It's a pretty even schedule.
Can you look up what they did in 14 on that 3-game road?
Yeah,
consecutive.
It was,
I think it was one of them was the Rams. I remember
New England Rams and Chargers.
I just have a distinct memory because that Rams trip, I believe, was a 2-day trip for us, and I just remember I had so much stuff to do in St. Louis. Yeah,
sorry. Patriots, Raiders, Rams.
And how did they do?
They did 1 and 2. They
did a 1 and 2.
Lost to the Patriots, beat the Raiders pretty well, and then lost to the Rams.
Kind of a bad loss versus the Rams, right?
Emmanuel Sanders got hurt in that game.
Got concussed.
Yeah. I think Joyce Thomas got hurt in that one. That was not a good.
But that Rams team wasn't great.
No.
Right?
No.
That was in the old, what was the dome called? Edward Jones?
Jones, yeah.
It was dark in there, I remember.
I've been to a game there. The first NFL game I ever went to was there.
Really?
Yeah. Preseason.
Oh, well, does it count?
I think so. I was just a young lad.
You were excited to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were just ready to go.
It's like I've been thinking about this since the schedule came out.
Okay, well, let's start to go week by week here, if you will.
Yeah, it feels a little weird, right? Because everything the Broncos have done this offseason is no hype, no predictions, no focusing on the future, but we'll do it.
Do you want to do wins or losses, or do you think that's okay, or do you want to? What do you want to just go?
I don't want to build I don't know if I want to build the hype that way.
So you want to just go through it?
Maybe we can go through.
So you're scared to do it?
Will that make you sad?
What you're saying?
Maybe Swanson predicts it.
Let's do that. We'll talk about it and Swanson predicts it. It's just all on him.
Win.
Fine. Let's just talk about
I think we
matchups.
can discuss which ones seem difficult.
Well, you want to go week by week or no?
Yeah, I think week by week.
Yeah, let's just talk about the matchup.
Yeah.
So obviously the opener, you got Jimmy G coming to town, Josh Jacobs.
Josh McDaniels.
You love the revenge.
I like revenge.
Yeah, you like the revenge. I think Josh Jacobs was the AP Offensive Player of the Year last year, right?
Sure.
I believe because Mahomes won MVP, I think they gave Josh the...
he had a really good year.
Yeah, he led the league in rushing yards.
1,700 yards?
I think 1 million.
Oh, I didn't.
I think it was something like that.
Look it up. I was looking up to see who else they had drafted. He had almost 1,700 rushing yards, 12 rushing touchdowns.
And was he the AP Offensive Player of the Year?
He was not.
Perfect.
It seems like that would fit, though.
He came in 5th.
Dang. Why did I think that?
Who
won it? Who won it?
Was Myles Garrett a free agent?
Patrick Mahomes won it. Oh, wait, that's
think so.
sorry, that's MVP.
Oh,
well,
my
I clicked the thing that said the voting.
Yeah,
Gracious.
Justin Jefferson.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Other JJ.
Patrick Mahomes second.
That's right. See, that's what it was.
Yeah. I feel I kind of like this matchup for a week 1 matchup. It's got some spice to it. Just 'cause it's a division rivalry. Obviously, the Broncos had a kind of a heartbreaking loss last year, right? With Devontae winning it on a walk-off in overtime against Pat Surtain. For as good of a season Pat Surtain had, that was kind of maybe the one game where he didn't play so great, and
True.
Devontae got the best out of him on that play. So I'm sure Surtain wants some revenge there. The Raiders have had the Broncos number here. For as much as we talk about the Chiefs streak, Phil,
Yes.
the Broncos have not beaten the Raiders since their final matchup of 2019.
That was the 2-point conversion that our old friend knocked down. Is that right?
Our old friend Shelby Harris. Yes.
Yeah.
I think what 6 straight against the Raiders the Broncos have lost.
Swanson is getting to work
He's-
today.
Those fingers are going to
You
be
like the
feeling.
test? That Josh Jacobs, that was just a test. You know?
Yeah, we're getting you ready.
That was just a test just to see if you're.
But I think
Yeah,
that's
6.
a winnable game at home.
I think so too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's possible.
You got a that's possible. Perfect.
That's what we're saying,
They've
right?
got
That's
home
what's-
field advantage. I think
They are playing at home.
people
Yeah,
will
that's
be
true. They got
fired
the
up
home
about
field advantage.
Sean
there.
Payton will be your first chance to see what he does with Russell Wilson.
Yeah. I just think that there's going to be a lot of build up to this one. Like it's the start of the year, obviously, but I think for this Broncos team, getting off to a good start, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, it's going to be really important, I
Right.
think. It'll just help build confidence. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So,
And
and I
they'll be-
like starting with the division too.
Yeah, you do setting the tone the right way, but
Yeah.
but it becomes very important then to get the win
Yeah.
and not fall behind in the division. Obviously, it's been several years since the Broncos have had a winning record in the division. Phil, I do like though that you're not going to deal with kind of all the nonsense that would go with opening with the Jets.
Yeah, or like a big primetime game, or like
Or like the
last year we
Seahawks
talked
last
so
year.
much about the Seahawks.
Like it's just a football game,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
nice for this team that you don't have to.
2:25 kickoff.
Yeah,
It's gonna be nice.
yeah. Who knows? Maybe our friend Kevin Harlan or somebody will be
Could be.
calling it. Who knows?
Could be nice.
But you don't deal with all the outside noise, and maybe this team can just. Again, Sean Payton talks about staying away from the hype.
Ooh,
This
yeah.
is a good way to. This is a good opponent, good opener to stay away from some of that.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. That's a good opener for this team, I
Yeah.
think. And then they stay at home.
Stay
They
at
get
home.
to sleep in their own beds.
Don't have to worry about being on
Comfy.
the road.
You know, they
3
just
weeks
get,
in
they
a
get to be a little comfy. You know, and then Washington comes to town.
Yeah, Washington.
They'll be playing Swanson's guy, I think,
Yeah.
right? That's
Sam
sort of the
Howell?
idea. Yeah,
Wow.
Howell.
Oh,
Howell.
I think if you're going to play that guy, good to catch him early in the season.
Yeah, I
That's what
agree.
you think.
If he's a quarterback, yeah.
Eric Bieniemy?
You know,
That's
these,
true. Eric Bieniemy,
these
Yeah, with
Washington
Washington.
teams tend to be really good defensively.
Ron Rivera.
It's a
Bears.
kind of a grind. But another game that I think, if you're the Broncos and you look at the schedule and you want to build some momentum, good game to have there early in the season, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's an opportunity to get another win. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think that like Washington on paper comes in like way ahead of the Broncos at this point. So right now, I believe that Howell's slated to be the starter. So, like you mentioned, getting him early, I think those things are beneficial for the Broncos.
Definitely.
Could also be Jacoby Brissett, right? That was the other
I
guy
believe
that
so. Yeah,
they'll
that
be
they
competing
added.
with.
Ooh.
Yeah, so.
And they could do one of those things that you start him and let Howell like
But he
observe
already-
for a little.
He already kind of
did that last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be
We'll
interesting.
see.
Then you go on the road and you face Miami.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough game.
Of course, Mike McDaniel facing his hometown team.
Yeah, and his former high school classmate Phil Milani.
Yeah. He was a senior and I was a freshman.
he ever put you in a locker or no?
No, I don't think so.
No, they didn't. They didn't have any of the giant lockers.
They didn't have one of the 1.5.
Yeah,
They just had the
made it
regular
tough.
size.
it was like,
Yeah.
God, can't get this guy
It
in
won't
there.
fit.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good
It's going to
football.
be
Hot,
hot.
and they
Got to be well hydrated. that week.
throw the crud out of the ball, and they want to score 40 points.
Waddle, Hill.
other
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. We hope that Tua stays healthy.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to play in that one, and that's a good squad. That's a playoff team from last year. That's our old friend Bradley Chubb is going to be lining up, trying to get after Russell Wilson.
Jalen Ramsey.
Vic Fangio, maybe he'll have some meatballs the night before.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good football team, Phil. I think you look at them
good
as one of
squad.
the teams in the AFC that could compete to go to the Super Bowl,
Good squad.
and especially in the South Florida heat in September.
South Florida.
Ugh.
Hopefully no delays because like a storm rolls in.
It's a 1 p.m. kick, and so hopefully you get it done. Normally, the storms come in later,
Yeah, a little bit later. Yeah,
So-
that's true.
but that's
Hard Rock, I believe. That's
Yeah.
That's a nice stadium.
stuck between a rock and
And a hard
rock. Yeah. I look at that as one of the more difficult
That's
games
gonna
on
be a
the
difficult
on the
game.
entire schedule.
That's going to be a tough game. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
And of course, Pat Surtain going against Waddle. That could be fun.
Who guards Tyreek Hill then?
I don't know.
Hometown game.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, Swanson, good
hometown for
job.
Pat. Yeah.
See, I'm paying
Swanson.
attention sometimes.
Swanson.
I don't know if anybody's ever seen, but there was this series we did called Back Home. If you want to find out where Pat Surtain, where he went to high school,
That was
his
this year?
journey a little bit.
We did that
No,
this
that
year?
was last year.
Oh, got it.
That was last year.
This year do we do it?
TBD.
Oh, nice. I'll look
Really?
forward to that.
Yeah.
Me and Phil.
Yeah, we
Hanging out
went.
with him.
We were just hanging with
American
it was-
Heritage.
Let's just put it this way: it was Ben Swanson, it was Phil Milani, it was Pat Surtain in South Florida.
Wow.
That's a nice time.
That's what memories are made
That's
of.
a good time. Let's
Yeah.
just say those three guys were hanging
Those
out in
three.
South Florida. That's what happened.
Surf
I
and
love it.
sun.
But yeah, that's gonna be a nice little matchup. But they're obviously very close friends, Waddle and Surtain.
Right.
He was there too.
He was there.
Wow, Waddle was there too?
He was. He was. Yeah, exactly. They got some good dances.
They do.
Hopefully, we won't see any
Hopefully
hill
we-
waving.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you forget
some
about the
PTSD
wave.
from
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Oh, that would be bad. Okay, and then the next week, back to back on the road here, going over to Chicago. Hopefully, the team isn't going to be eating any deep dish pizza the night before the game.
Right. Heavy stomachs.
You could do it, of
Slow 'em
course,
down.
Eric, but not
They,
the team.
They shouldn't.
They
No.
should not do that.
No. Yeah, that's. I'll be interested to see what the Bears are, right? Because
Ooh, yeah.
they've done some really good things with Justin Fields, but they haven't quite put it together the way you thought they would.
Some people might build this up as the Fields versus Surtain.
Some
Some
might-
people
some
out there
might.
might do that.
Some people's heads might explode this week.
Yeah, this
Like
week
if
it
Justin
could be bad.
Fields scores a touchdown and Pat Surtain doesn't.
What if Surtain picks off Fields
Yeah.
like that? Or sort of just answer any kind of, that would just be
Yeah,
the final.
for
That would be
all.
it. Hey, he did it.
Yeah. See, I would look at like, oh, Pat Surtain was a first team All Pro, and
No. It's
Fields
just
wasn't,
about
but,
this
like,
game. Yeah, it's just
but if
about
Fields
this game.
throws a touchdown,
That's back-to-back weeks, a lot of pressure on Pat Surtain. And I think he'll deliver.
yeah. What's
He just sort of does that.
Their
He delivers.
receivers.
well, they just got DJ Moore right from the
Yeah.
Panthers as
Yeah,
part of that
they
trade.
lit it
So
up.
DJ Moore,
He was a tough cover
I
last
think
year.
they got a couple wide receivers this offseason.
DJ Moore got the best of Pat in Carolina.
That's a tough,
this
yeah,
year.
he's a
That
good
was
guy.
maybe one of the other games that Pat wasn't quite at his best. So tricky. But I feel like I kind of look at that as one the Broncos should win, right?
Should win
So I look
on
at
paper,
this.
but they might be. So a lot of people are like talking about Fields, like, ooh, he's about to take a leap.
Yeah,
Eric, there's some sort of hype around a leap, maybe for him. And
ascending player.
it could be an ascending player.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think you said it.
So I look at that. Those first 4 games, we like to do things kind of in quarters.
Oh,
I look at
hard
those
to
four-
do a 17, but yeah,
We'll find a way.
yeah,
Should we talk about the first quarter of the Jets game?
I think so. It just makes sense. It's just accurate.
would do it.
You know,
I look at that stretch and I say, if you could be 3-1,
be nice.
that would be tremendous.
It'd be nice.
And even if you were 2-2, I think that would be okay.
Yeah,
But 3-1 would.
I think
would
you
look
want to be 3-1.
I'd look
there.
at those first 4 and say, if we could be 3-1, that would be good.
really want to be 4-0.
You want to be 4-0.
Watson, that's why we keep him around.
You want to be 4-0.
3-1 is a nice goal, I think.
You come back home and oh man,
Here he is, the guy
There he
everybody's
is.
been waiting for.
a lot of people are going to be focused on Aaron Rodgers and the hype around
Jair
that, but
Alexander.
not around here.
Jair Alexander.
I don't think nobody's going to care about that. I'm talking about
Former
Randall
unit.
Cobb.
Oh,
Yeah, coming back.
Yeah.
No, of course Billy Turner is going to be back. No, of course.
Former UNC
I said
running
Jair.
backs.
I said Jair
reunited.
Alexander. He's on the Packers.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I got confused.
Yeah.
Alan Lazard.
You got confused, huh? Classic Eric just making a mistake out here. Yeah, thank you, Swanson.
Connor McGovern revenge game.
Is he still there?
Yeah, he just
I
re-signed.
don't know.
Yeah,
Fact check true.
yeah. Our old friend, your old friend.
Right.
I would say, yeah.
He sat in this very studio
Yeah,
with
he
us
did.
1 year ago.
He did.
Almost to the day,
Yeah,
talking about this
talking about
this
the schedule.
schedule,
Yeah.
last year's schedule.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this year's. We didn't have it
No,
yet.
you didn't have it yet.
No.
You were thinking about it,
I
but he
was
wasn't.
ready.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah.
Back to
What do you
Denver
think?
after, would you say an auspicious season?
It's a nice word.
Infamous?
That's a nice.
Bad?
No, I want
Bad,
to.
too much.
Yeah.
Auspicious, Swanson?
think it would be inauspicious.
Oh,
back to back, Aric
Auspicious?
mistakes. You know
Auspicious.
words, right? You know words, right?
We're on the Merriam-Webster official website.
That's our
Okay.
that's sort of our Bible.
Definition number 1, showing or suggesting that future success is likely.
that's
I think you were going
That
for
was
inauspicious.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't auspicious.
Wow.
A tough season in many ways last year,
it was.
Phil.
It was.
Everybody thought externally that the Broncos hired Nathaniel Hackett in part to try to lure Aaron Rodgers here. Did not happen.
It did not happen.
The Broncos, of course, have maintained the whole time that Russell Wilson was always their plan.
Yep.
But now Nathaniel Hackett is
Back. They were reunited.
back.
It was beautiful.
With Aaron Rodgers. He's got a little goatee. We'll have to see if it's actually kind of a large goatee.
It
We'll have
is.
to see if it still exists when the season gets here. But listen, I like Nathaniel as a person.
Yeah, of course.
It didn't work out here. But that certainly, I would imagine fans
It's gonna
will
be a big game.
will
It's
be,
gonna be a big game. Let's
the
just say it's a
reception
big
will be
game.
interesting to watch.
Yes. Now, Aaron Rodgers has not had a lot of success in Denver, I don't think. I wonder what his record is here. But
Has he
I
played
do
here since
recall.
2015?
I don't think so, no.
No. The last time they played was 2019. That was in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So 2015.
That was when Philip Lindsay dived into their end zone. No. He
Don
was pulled
Reisner
into.
picked him up.
Into, yeah. That's right. What's his record against the Broncos?
Let's see. Scrolling.
Yeah.
Well, while you find that, I will say this is,
He's 2-1 against the Broncos.
but in Denver, 0-1.
In Denver, just 0-1.
Huh, never won.
He's never won here. I don't think he's played well here.
Fact check, true.
That 15 game that might have been the worst game of his entire career.
And maybe the best game the Broncos defense played in the regular season, right?
I think he might have had like 50 yards passing, if that.
77.
77.
Here's what I hope, Phil, for this game. I hope that both the Jets and Broncos have some success ahead of that game.
They both come in 4-0.
So that it's kind of like hey, it just didn't work here. As opposed to like if the Jets are scoring 30 points a game and the Broncos are still struggling.
You want the narrative to be good coming into this one.
Like it has a chance to be really ugly.
Yeah.
Like if the Broncos are 4-0 and they're just scoring like crazy and the Jets are struggling, it's gonna be like, oh, this is Hackett's fault, blah blah blah. In the same way, the other way around gets pinned on.
You just want it to be a nice matchup, I think.
Like it could just be good if it was like, hey, it didn't work for us together, but we found our happiness.
Oh.
And then the Broncos win.
Oh, got it. And then what would Hackett feel after the game?
After the game, maybe a little
he wouldn't
happy,
No, I
maybe
don't
some
think so.
sad.
I think at that point he would be sad.
That'll just be it'll be a spicy media week.
It is going to be.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
That's going to be a very nice week. You
You
think
know,
he does a conference call or no?
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't
Right?
know.
I can't remember that happening.
Yeah.
Well, like Russell did one with Seattle media.
But players,
quarterback often
Players
would do
play.
that. Yeah, and also do conference call.
Coaches coach.
Famous sort of saying.
Yeah,
That's going to be a good one.
good one.
That's going to be a nice one.
That's
Also, like right around that time, you kind of got a feel for what the team was
what's the team going to be?
Yeah.
That has a chance to be kind of a pivotal game.
Yeah.
Right. Say you're. I mean, 3-1 would be great. Let's just say you're 2-2 coming in. Obviously, that game with a short week going to Kansas City the following week, that has a chance to be a really pivotal kind of, hey, do you win this game and you feel good with a win over Aaron Rodgers? Do you lose this game and you're like, oh, now we got to go to Kansas City? And
That's kind of like if you were playing, like, say, like a basketball series and it was 2-2,
Okay.
and then you went into game 5.
yeah,
That's a big game, to, if
Right.
you can win that one.
right. What if you're
That
down
would be
3-1?
good. Well, if
What
it's-
is it? We'll have to figure out what the corgi has to say about these games.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get the corgi on here. Swanson,
Swanson?
you're working on booking the
Doing
corgi.
the corgi?
Yeah,
He's busy.
yeah.
Okay, and then
as
Thursday night, short week.
Yeah. As you mentioned last time, the Broncos played the Chiefs on the road on Thursday night football.
They won.
It was the rookie game.
Yeah, of course.
They've
They played
also
Thursday
played-
night at home. Yeah, that's when
don't remember
Mahomes
that.
hurt
Yeah,
his
that was not-
knee.
My knee,
Not
my
a
knee.
great game.
And then Flacco strip sacked right after that.
Yeah, and I believe a fake
Returned for a
punt.
touchdown. I think.
I believe a fake punt
Anyway,
from Colby Wadman got wrecked.
Yeah.
Matt Moore.
I forgot about that one. So
That
now
was the
we're going
Chris.
to
That was the Chris Harris. Ain't nobody in the league running routes like that.
That's true. That was a crazy.
There were a lot of moments
And
from that
Matt
game.
Moore came in, right? And
The Broncos
he
had
balled
just.
out a
I think
little
they'd
for them.
started at 1-3, 0-3, and then gotten it back to 2-3, and had a chance to move within a game of the division. And it just didn't,
Yeah.
it didn't go well. That's going to be a
short. You like short week against Kansas City?
yeah.
Or no?
It's something to
Seems like maybe Andy can't put in all of his little gimmicks.
short
his
week at
tricks.
home. I would say that, but it's just the road on a short week is such an advantage because your body is still healing, and you got to get on a plane and
Short flight though.
Short flight.
yeah. But I don't like if a guy gets dinged up on Sunday, he might have a chance to play the next Sunday, but have no chance.
That's the same for both teams, though.
Right, but at home, I feel like you got the extra day.
Maybe what you do is since it's a night game, you just fly over on Thursday.
You know, you're not allowed to do that, right?
Maybe
It's a rule.
what do you? Maybe can you bus it? Can you bus on the Thursday morning? Maybe you do that.
No.
8 hours to Kansas City.
That'll be a tough game, obviously. Probably the toughest game on the Broncos schedule, right?
Of course, they're the defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
And they've got the
Raining.
reigning MVP. Yeah, you could defend your MVP too, I guess.
You know, not really what people say.
But it works nicely. Defending Super Bowl champs, defending MVP. I guess it's not. It doesn't really work.
Doesn't work.
Reigning MVP.
Yeah, that's
a big one. You got the monkey, there. It's on the Broncos' back.
first.
You want to get it off of the back.
You think, does the monkey go with the Broncos from Denver on the flight to Kansas City, or is it just waiting there?
It's waiting there.
It's waiting.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
it. So you don't have to travel with it.
No.
That's nice.
No, yeah. But then once you're there, it hops on.
It hops on. Then you come back home, Phil. Green Bay, Jordan Love. Who knows
That's true.
what to think?
We don't know what to expect from Green Bay.
They could compete for
really
a
good.
playoff team. They could be the worst team in football. We don't know.
We don't know what to expect. Of course, Green Bay has had 30-year stretch here with back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yep.
And now we're going to have to
Could they
find
do it
out if
again?
it's 3 in a row.
Right.
You would think, though, like Jordan Love, they know what
Yeah, of course.
know
They know.
him.
They know.
So they
They
know.
know what they know, and we don't know what they know.
correct. So that one's going to be nice.
Does that feel to you, given the stretch there of Jets, KC, and then another KC game, does that feel pretty close to a must-win, like one you just got to have?
Yeah, I mean, it sort of depends on how the other games go, right?
Perfect.
So if you just beat Kansas City and then you got a little bye,
Yeah.
then of course Green Bay is not a must-win.
Right.
But depending on how those other ones go, yeah, I mean,
Like if you could
could be
get
a
out
big
of
game.
if you could get out of Jets at KC, Green Bay, and KC, if you could get out of that at
before the bye,
before the bye,
you
if
go
could
2-2 there.
2-2,
Oh,
you'd be feeling pretty good.
chef's kiss.
That would get you to 5-3, I believe, if we do the 3-1 from before. You'd be pretty happy.
But we're not doing the wins and losses.
Well, not week by
We're
week,
just
but
talking.
we just
We're just kind of
chatting
talking
about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you go,
I'm not saying
no, but somebody could
some are
say
saying
that 5-3 would be pretty good.
somebody in that position talking about this could say
5-3.
maybe 5-3 is
It's
nice.
and probably attainable.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And you go into that bye after playing Kansas City at home. If you're able to win that,
Yeah, of course.
you feel good.
Feel good. The monkey. When does that monkey come back?
It could be off
Oh,
already, so it could just be gone
but if it still exists, when does it come to Denver?
with Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got to take it.
They got to take
It's
it.
their monkey.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listen, the Broncos, for as many struggles as they had last year, Phil, Russ played well in those games.
Those Chiefs, yeah. They played the Chiefs close last year.
Yeah. Obviously, they were behind 27-0, but they came back, had a chance before Russ gets hurt. And then in Kansas City, arguably the best game they played all year,
Yeah.
if not for a phantom offensive pass interference call against Cortland Sutton, you could be looking at winning that football game.
And by then, Jerry Rosberg
He'd come to town.
he had taken over control.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then week 9, I love that bye week.
I love
Halloween.
that bye week. You
Halloween.
buy the bye
I
week
love
or
a bye
no?
week around
I'm going
Halloween.
to buy that week.
You do the candy, and then you got the bye week. I like that. Then you go
that
to
is.
Buffalo. That's probably the second hardest game, I would probably say.
I agree. At
Buffalo.
Buffalo, Monday night, their fans are going to be rowdy.
Nav 13.
They've had all day to jump on tables and drink some. What do they drink up there? Malort?
I'm not sure. Molson?
Oh, yeah, maybe that's
Yeah, I
it.
think it's Molson. What did you say? That's 5 in a row now for Eric. You're rattled by the schedule.
You think Von Miller will be back by then?
I think so.
That will be, of course, the first time the Broncos face off against Von, which will be kind of cool. It'll be a little weird, I think.
Sad. I was going to say sad, yeah.
But also kind of like a...
He's a Bronco. Let's just say it.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to come back, go into the Ring of Fame, go into the Hall of Fame. He's going to be one of those guys that is a Bronco, but it'll be a little weird.
It'll be a little weird. Of course, they have Super Bowl aspirations.
Yes.
And they're going to be a good team. I mean, Josh Allen, I would say, is in his prime at this point. We know what he is. He's a good player.
Making the rounds.
You got something to say? No, nothing.
He's a good quarterback.
He's a good
quarterback. Of course, anytime you play Josh Allen, the thing here is, well, the Broncos should have drafted Josh Allen. So
everybody always says
that's always a storyline. And the Broncos, I believe, have not played Buffalo in the regular season since 2020. When they came here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And just
it was a blowout.
Obliterated.
Yeah, it was not great.
No. It was late in the season, and that was Josh Allen was kind of he was starting to come onto the scene then as really good.
He was.
And I think they put up 45 or something.
48.
Yeah. That was not a fun game.
I'm interested to see what Buffalo does.
Yeah.
You know, they fell a little short last year.
They feel a little bit like, sometimes a team you think is like the best. Like you think this is going to be the best team Buffalo has. Like, will they lose? Are they going to have one loss? They're going to be the 1 seed. You don't quite achieve what you want to achieve. And then the next year, maybe your team's not quite as good, but you finally do it.
Then you do it.
I think of like you would say, right, the 96 Broncos, maybe better than
the
97 Broncos.
Yeah.
2012 Broncos, you would
Better
consider
than
better
13.
than 13 or 15.
Yep.
Of course,
it's not always the best team that wins it all.
His 05 Colts, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Didn't win.
Didn't win it.
So, and the Bills wasn't quite the same level, I don't think, but I think everyone's sleeping on them a little bit in terms of like had their.
You thought last year was their year.
It was like last year everyone was like, oh, the Bills are going to do it this year.
Now it's just Chiefs and Bengals.
Chiefs, Bengals, and Dolphins a little bit, I think.
Oh.
Like people are like, are the Dolphins going to take the AFC?
Well, Tua's health is really the most important thing for them.
But I think if you're Buffalo, you're like, hey, why is everybody forgetting about us?
Yeah, of course. So, they're loaded. I mean,
loaded. Good football team.
Yeah. And when you have Josh, anything really could happen.
Right.
He's a good player. Then you come back home and it's Gary Payton, George Payton Bowl.
They say Gary Kubiak Bowl.
No. It's the George Payton Bowl.
George Payton Bowl, yeah. That one, if there was a primetime game that I was surprised by, it's that one.
Oh, really?
Just, I don't think of Broncos Vikings as like a particularly spicy matchup. Mm-hmm. Not that everything needs to be spicy, but the Vikings will be interesting too, right? Because I think some people, they won a lot of one-possession games last year.
They did.
A lot. What, 11, 12, something like that?
Talking about Buffalo, that was probably the game of the year, Vikings-Bills last year.
They won a lot of one-possession games. Typically, teams that do that regress the previous season or the following season. That's another one.
Fact check.
That's true.
I don't know that, but the 11 is right.
What do you mean? It's true.
11 one possession. That's a record.
One possession games tend to be like a coin toss, a 50-50.
Yeah.
You either win them or you don't.
But maybe you're pretty good if you win.
It's possible.
And then you're just good.
And obviously the Broncos went with Nathaniel Hackett over Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
What a nice first year in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So there's some storylines there, but
their wide receiving core maybe the best in the NFL, possibly.
Sertan Jefferson.
Ooh.
That's a great matchup.
Yeah. Of course, Kirk Cousins, coming to Denver here to play.
Impressive.
So should be. I think that could be a nice game. I don't believe they've played here since 2015 when Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback for the Vikings.
Hold on.
Probably. That has to be true, right? If
true.
the Packers haven't played here.
That the strange thing is like because they only play every 8 years.
Yeah.
Like the teams are so different from the last time they came in. Like and the Broncos, of course, won the Super Bowl that year.
Right.
So, it's
Wait,
just
what did you say
interesting.
about Teddy?
Teddy was
He was the starting quarterback of that Vikings team.
Kirk.
No.
In 2019?
That was in Minnesota.
I was in Minnesota.
Oh, I see.
That came down. That was a Brandon Allen right down to the final play of the game.
last.
No. Then
Keep up.
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
That's the Thanksgiving game, I think, huh?
Yes, the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to be at home.
So if you have too much turkey, it could be a little sleepy that
It'll
day.
be sleepy.
You got to factor in the turkey effect.
You're having turkey 3 days later.
Leftovers, dude.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland, we don't know what they're going to be either. Deshaun Watson did not play super well when he came back from his lengthy suspension. If he's playing at a high level, obviously that becomes a very difficult game.
We know that they run the ball well.
Yep.
And then, of course, they have
Chubb.
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett, who was never a free agent.
Of course. Yeah. That could be a tough. I think the Browns, they're sort of an unknown, but it's possible. Tough game late in the season there.
Yeah,
Possible.
Just hard to say.
Possible, yeah. And then, of course, you begin that 3-game stretch against Deshaun Watson's former team.
Yep. C.J. Stroud, of course, drafted by the Texans.
Yeah.
Will he be playing by then?
Will Anderson.
That's kind of maybe the storyline for that one. Do you see a rookie quarterback? I don't know who their quote-unquote veteran is.
I'm not sure who. They might just be saying, hey,
C.J., you're
going.
going.
They had number 2 and number 3 picks this year.
Right. Traded up for 3.
Traded up, yeah.
But, yeah, they
That's bold.
got some young talent.
And would you say this is also a revenge game against D'Amico Ryans? Or no? Is that? I'm just asking you if it is.
No.
No, it's
not officially.
Got it. Got it.
So did we just do 4 more games there? I think we did.
Buffalo, Minnesota, Cleveland, and at Houston. What would like our friend be saying about?
I think our
this?
friend. I think a 3-1 is probably
Ooh.
like you. Here's the thing: we've been accustomed, Phil, to just struggling a little bit the last few years, and so we're kind of like, man, 2-2 would be great, huh? But when you look at playoff teams, they win more than that, right?
Yes, you have to be above 5.
You have to
a
be
little
above,
bit above 500,
and you probably got to get to
point.
10 or 11 wins. And so there's going to be stretches where the Broncos have to go
if you want to make the playoffs.
3-1. If you want to.
I don't know. Yeah, they probably want to.
I think, yeah, we'll confirm, but
We'll confirm.
we're hearing. You got to win your home
Got to
games.
get a little bit of catch fire a little bit.
Catch fire, but win your home games. So Vikings at home, you should ride a primetime crowd. Cleveland at home, and then Houston, young team.
Yeah.
I think hopefully you're able to take care of business. But you're right, D'Amico Ryans, good coach. They're going to be tough.
Defensively, they're going to be tough.
Yeah. Not going to be an easy one, but I think if you're the Broncos and you've got playoff aspirations,
You've got
to take advantage in that stretch, I think.
You know, one thing that we didn't really talk about, Eric, and this is sort of interesting to me, is that last year, with a little bit of a difficult start for the Broncos, one of the narratives was, hey, Russ is still getting a feel for Nathaniel Hackett. Do you think there's any? Do you think that's going to be a little bit of a storyline for this Broncos team? Like, hey, Sean and Russ, they're still going to feel for each other. The offense is going to be a little behind the defense to start the year, like that kind of narrative. You expect that, or you just sort of think that, hey, Sean Payton's been a veteran coach. He's going to get this thing humming right off the bat.
I don't know that if they're going to be at their peak right away, but I do think it'll be better right away.
Yeah.
In part because Sean is a veteran coach. He knows what he wants to do. Based on all the offseason moves, Phil, it seems like they want to run the football.
Pound the rock.
And so that, I think, helps, right? Like make things a little bit easier if you're running the football well and not trying to throw it 40 times a game. And look, there were teams last year that we sat and watched implement new offenses that worked really quickly.
Yeah.
Like
O'Connell.
McDaniel in Miami, that worked really fast. O'Connell in Minnesota, they were scoring points right away. And so it's not like it's not like it can't be done. And I think we saw by the end of the year in Denver, this was not a learning curve issue. This was just the combination didn't work.
Yeah. NASA was busy working on other stuff too. They couldn't be here as much as.
I also think Sean Payton has said, he was asked, are people going to play in the preseason? And he was like, what are you talking about?
I love that.
The Broncos are not going to be showing up on Sunday, September 10th, and being like, time to go play for the first time.
Yeah, but you would imagine that come week 14 at the Chargers, this team's going to be
in a different place. Of course, you evolve. And Bill Belichick says a lot. He views September as more preseason.
Second preseason.
And he says you don't know anything about your team until October. And so if that's the case, the Broncos, and you're kind of you like to get some wins during that stretch. The Broncos are, I guess, fortunate to not open up at Kansas City or with Buffalo in week 3.
One positive here is that the late season games, no potential bad weather on the road.
That's correct.
You know, at Houston, dome. At LA, SoCal, nice.
Nice.
Dome. But also nice weather. You don't have to worry about it. It's going to be nice there. Is what I'm saying.
At Detroit, dome.
At Detroit, dome.
At Raiders, dome.
At Raiders, dome.
At Buffalo,
dome.
At Buffalo is the last outdoor road game the Broncos play.
Yeah. And who knows what? I mean, November 13th, who knows?
It could be crazy.
Yeah, it could be blizzard.
You could play that game in Minnesota.
Yeah. Or Detroit, maybe.
Uh,
Two in Detroit, maybe.
Exactly. Just stay there.
So what do you think about that Chargers game? The first time facing the Chargers this year, where you have to wait until
week 14.
December 10.
They're a good football team. Justin Herbert, obviously, we know how good he is. They added some receiver depth in the draft. Keenan Allen is good. Derwin James has been a thorn in the Broncos' side. Playoff team last year. I'm sure they'll have some motivation after the way they lost to Jacksonville in the playoffs. We'll see how the new offensive coordinator and Kellen Moore, who supposedly is going to be focused on stretching the field, letting Justin Herbert throw it deep more. They're going to be a good football team again, and that's going to be a good test. But I will say,
revenge game against Staley, of course.
I will say that the Broncos have been good against the Chargers. If there's one AFC West team that the Broncos have played well against, it's the Chargers. They should not have lost last year.
The Chargers should not have lost.
No, the Broncos should not have lost in LA last year.
Yeah.
They made every possible mistake they could have made and still lost by 3 points.
Yeah.
But they've just played well against them.
Yeah.
And so that'll be a great game. That was one I looked at before the year and thought Broncos-Chargers has Sunday Night Football potential.
Yeah. But not. Alas.
Well, you could flex it. Maybe you do a little flexi flex.
Maybe you do a flexi, huh? And then they go at Detroit.
Yep, you hope.
That's going to be really tough just because of the schedule.
Yeah.
Adding it, and then also the Lions are good.
Lions are up and coming. They score a lot of points.
A little surprising that the Lions and Chiefs are going to open the season, right?
Yeah.
I think that sort of was a surprise for most people around the league.
They must just know that
Dan Campbell, he's watching kneecaps.
Oh, yeah, Dan Campbell, revenge game. They must know that people are going to...
Dan Campbell, Sean Payne, revenge game, of course.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
They must know that people are going to watch Chiefs Bengals and Chiefs Eagles whenever it is. So maybe you don't want to waste one of those on week 1 when they're like, people are going to watch week 1 no matter what, too.
But I think the
Lions are a hot team.
Yeah, they're hot.
They're hot right now.
Yeah.
New York's hottest club is the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. It's true. Stephon.
They're good. That's going to be a track meet.
Oh, really?
I think you got to try
high scoring.
I would think so, right? Like they score a lot of points.
Goff.
They have the number 1 offense in the league last year.
Let's see.
Goff.
Yeah. Will Levis. No, he went to Tennessee. Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker. Yeah.
I think Campbell said he's not going to play for a long time.
That's
what he said. Yeah.
5th in scoring, 4th in yards.
So basically 1.
So 7 mistakes in a row. All right. From Aric here. And then, of course, a nice Santa will be flying over Empire Field, and maybe he'll drop off a gift for the Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos, Patriots. I guess not technically Sunday Night Football. It's on NFL Network.
But
on
that game
Sunday
will be
night.
Played Sunday.
But not, and I don't.
And at nighttime.
But I don't think
that doesn't count.
I don't think Chris Collinsworth will be there.
I don't think so. No.
Al might be there
for NFL Network. Could be guest.
Right.
I think sometimes they do that. In the past, like a Kurt Warner will like come and do some color. So somebody like that, something like that.
I would think they would do a couple of Christmas Eve games, and then I think they plan to have a lot of teams play. Like some teams play Christmas Day. Maybe some teams play Saturday.
Yeah, that's a nice holiday weekend of festivities and NFL football.
When you think of Christmas Day, you think of
NFL football.
NFL.
Yeah, of course.
No other sport.
No.
That one's interesting, Phil. I don't know what they're going to be.
Yeah.
Bill seems to just
quarterback these
Mac
days.
Jones.
Is he?
They seem to just be around. They're like the Steelers. Even when they're not very good, they're just
good.
Always around 500. They don't lose football games.
Yeah. Solid.
It used to be such a rivalry when Peyton and Tom were there.
Yeah.
I don't get like this scene. Like I'm not like, oh, the hated Patriots on Sunday night.
And the Broncos and Patriots used to play every year, no matter what.
Because of the scheduling formula.
Yeah. Now, I think this is the first time the Patriots are back since
16 with Kubiak? 17? I think 17.
I think 17. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say 17.
Played in 16 and 17.
Yeah.
And 15.
I think so. Yeah, and they played
And also
15. That was a snow game.
Well, and they played the AFC Championship here.
Oh, yeah. That was a nice weather game.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one could be a little snowy, huh? Maybe.
Snowy? Yeah, maybe you bring
White
CJ
Christmas.
Anderson back for a week.
Yeah. Go to overtime, see
doing?
what happens.
See a cow?
You know? I think he's
Rice?
coaching. Yeah. So I think he's moved on from Cal, I think.
Then Phil, Chargers visit here. Same. No, it's not.
That's 8?
Yep.
That's 8?
New Year's Eve against the Chargers.
New Year's
exciting.
Eve, yeah. You ring it in.
Yep.
That's twice in 4 weeks against the Chargers.
Yeah. That'll be an important one, of course.
Yeah,
Gonna
revenge
need to,
game.
Going to need to close out the Broncos for as you get the 3-game road trip there in early December, but then 2 home games in a row, and then I think a winnable game against the Raiders. You got a stretch there at the end where maybe the Broncos could be where, hey, win these 3, you get in.
Ooh.
Chance to go on a little run. I like that.
You know what would be nice, Eric, is just if those games mattered.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm asking for. That's if I had just something that I was wishful for. I just hope that all of the games matter and they're important contests late in the season.
The final year of Fangio, they all mattered, and it still wasn't like super fun.
The final game, they could have made the playoffs?
I think, wasn't that against the Raiders?
I thought the
Chargers.
Chiefs came in. It was like a Saturday.
Oh, you're
game.
right. That one didn't matter.
Yeah.
Sorry. But the second to last one mattered
Yeah. Yeah.
until it didn't.
And then, yeah. So, yeah, that's the schedule then.
Yeah, at Raiders. Last one. The Broncos haven't won there since 2015. Well, actually, they've never won in Las
in
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah.
But they haven't beaten the Raiders on the road since 2015.
The Death Star.
The Chris Harris Jr. game.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, that could be interesting. I mean, like we mentioned at the beginning, there are going to be different Raiders teams that they're playing.
Right.
You know, maybe by this point, Jimmy G settled in.
Or maybe he's not playing anymore.
Or maybe he got hurt or something happened. Yeah.
Who else? Do they have a rookie or no? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He signed somebody.
Of course, Jarrett Stidham revenge.
Did Mary?
Jacob Openmoyer revenge.
Yeah, of course. Maybe the Broncos have the number 1 seed locked up. They're like, let's play Stidham.
That's true. So you don't necessarily want all the games to matter.
That's true.
Their backups are Brian Hoyer and Chase Garbers.
Who? I actually don't know who that is.
I don't know the
Cal.
Garbers.
He's a
He was a Garbers baby. No? Too
Pretty
much?
good. I liked
yeah?
it.
Okay.
All right, Phil, that's the schedule.
Yeah, other than the 3 consecutive road games, I feel good about it.
Feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I look through and I see a way to get to 10 wins if the Broncos play well. You can, if the Broncos improve and don't do silly things like they did a year ago and improve the offense, there's a path to a playoff berth.
I think so too. Nothing just pops out that's like, what?
Right.
Like you're upset about it. Nothing like that. And
Right.
yeah, I think that it kind of gets you excited for the season.
Kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. Start booking anything like if you're a fan, you're like this road trip. This is the one I'd pick.
Oh.
Like say if you're a fan and you're like me and my buddies, we go to one road game.
Well, I mean, I think it's got to be an NFC team, right? Because you only go once every 8 years. And I'll tell you what, it could be chilly October 1st in Chicago, but generally it's still nice.
Soldier Field. Nice.
Soldier Field could be the last time the Broncos ever play there.
Yep.
Chicago is a wonderful, wonderful city in the summer. I spent 4 years there. It's absolutely miserable when it's cold, but
you spent 4 years there.
When it's warm, directly downtown. When it's warm, it's just wonderful. So you go spend a weekend. Nice. You do the Miracle Mile. You spend some time on the lakefront. Go to a game. That's what I would do.
You pick that. Obviously, the Miami would be nice. That could be a nice. Yeah. It's an AFC team, but it's Miami.
It's not my vibe.
You can enjoy it. Maybe on some nice weather. At Buffalo could be. That's always fun. Get
A
some wings.
lot to do there.
You get some wings. You go up to Niagara. It's a good long weekend destination.
Maybe Detroit.
You could do Detroit.
That's the other one
do
that you
Detroit.
won't do for 8 more years. So
Yeah. Of course, Ford
guess
Field.
not.
Ford Field.
Could go earlier, but
You know the thing about Ford Field? Long walk from the locker room to the field.
I've never been there.
Yeah. Oh, you get to cross it off.
I will be adding Detroit, and that's it.
Yeah. There you go.
I think after that, I'm just missing Atlanta.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny, huh? You're from there, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our look at the schedule. Before we say goodbye, though, of course, shout-outs.
That's right, Phil. We'll shout out your Nuggets.
Thank you very much. As we're recording this, it's 3-2.
3-2
Game 6 is tonight.
tonight. It could be over by the time people listen to this.
It could be.
If you're listening Friday morning.
I'm so
What could
afraid to talk
what could
about
possibly
that. Let's
happen?
not talk about that.
I will say we don't condone violence,
What are you talking about?
elbowing or shoving.
Yeah,
or-
Kevin Durant.
That's
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. I will say I agree. No fans should ever touch a player. I agree with that. I agree 100%.
yeah. That's a shout out to them. A little
Liz
worried.
Gerald's,
a little-
of course. I don't know if is she doing a lot in the community this week or what is she?
I think she's taking a little, some much needed time
R&R?
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't get that, but
We don't do that
it's nice for other people.
ever.
I will say that the Lakers a little worried about them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they just lost and Anthony Davis was wheeled out of the arena.
Is that bad?
I mean, but you, of course, expected that, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah,
Happened to
he's
Paul
pla-
Pierce once. He was okay.
I think he
it
was-
was a different situation.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. We'll have to see what happens.
We'll have to see.
We'll have to see
I'm a
what
little
happens.
nervous.
It's going to be an exciting week here coming up. Who knows what's going to happen?
It's true.
I'm nervous. I got a lot of nervous energy.
It'll be okay.
We'll see what happens. But hopefully you enjoyed that episode here. 2 hours
Not quite, but close.
almost.
In there.
Yeah. And of course, how will you be celebrating before you say goodbye? How will you be celebrating?
just celebrate all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make a nice roast.
Right.
Yeah. All the kids gather around.
Yeah, we
it's gonna
tell
be
stories about our favorite schedules.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the
Schedule
schedule
clause.
release
remember the one of 92?
of old
Schedule
Of
clause
your-
comes.
your
Yeah.
bring out the pudding?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's nice. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. For Ben Swanson and Aric DiLalla, I am Phil Milani. You've been listening to
The Neutral Zone.